The inevitable lull in exciting battles finally came this past weekend, proven by Costin's Nollie cancel heel death blow and Mike Mo's switch shove late varial flip being the most noteworthy takeaways from yet another goof-off battle in the icons section. Nick Holt gave Felipe Mota a shot to do some damage in their battle, and it was clear that nerves were in full effect for the Brazilian standout, with the match ultimately sharing the accolade of being the season's quickest at 23 turns along with the Vallely-Peterson match. So instead of looking under the hood of a couple yawn fests, there's some interesting findings about the current season as a whole that are worth sharing. Average match length is likely tied to the YouTube success of a Battle at the Barracks match. The average influencer battle length so far is less than 30 turns before letter E is delivered, while the next highest average match length of the 4 categories is much higher in the pros section at just under 51 turns. The average Joe's battle is 55 turns, and thanks to Malto, Pudwill, Costin, Mike Mo, Nyjah, P-Rod, Cole, and the Legion of Doom, the Icons battles average out to over 64 turns before they are done. Roughly speaking, Battle at the Barracks 12 has generated about 20 million views from the 39 official battles published, and there's almost an equal 25% distribution from all 4 categories, taking up the percentage of total views. The Icons have the lion's share of over 30.66% of total views, with over 6 million so far, followed by the Joes, who have a narrow lead on the pros with 25.27% of the views versus 25.04% respectively. So far, this seems like a predictable outcome. Icons rake in the views with their name power and legendary history in the tournament, while the Joes' thirst for glory of upsetting a pro naturally drives the Cinderella trope, pitting them against one another in a cutthroat race for clout. The influencers, however, whose short match lengths have accumulated less than 3.75 million views, account for only 19% of the total views from Battle at the Barracks matches. The longest influencer match so far was Burberry Airy and Sunny Suljic, ending in 40 turns, and racking up over 1.1 million views, which is actually the second most viewed battle of the entire tournament so far, behind the epic face-off between P-Rod and Nyjah and its 2.3 million views. Bera has gone on record saying the P-Rod Nyjah battle is currently the fastest skateboarding video on YouTube to hit 1 million views, achieving the feat in 36 hours.
Don't forget P-Rod. Oh, you know, the game between him and Nyjah was the fastest skate video ever to reach 1 million views on YouTube.
In skating and period?
Yeah, it was like 36 hours.
Holy shit.
The P-Rod Nyjah battle isn't the longest of the season, but it's pretty close, currently ranking 4th at 85 turns, with Malto and Tori's 109 turn battle still standing as this season's longest. If Burberry and Sunny's battle got over 1 million views with only 40 turns, how many views per turn are the 4 sections pulling in? Among this season's nearly 2,000 turns that have taken place, the influencers only make up 12% throughout those matches, even lower in percentage than the share of views their matches have brought in. With an average match length of less than 30 turns, the influencers have a staggering advantage over the Joes, pros, and icons when it comes to views per turn. The influencers get nearly 65% more views per turn on average than the second place icons, equating to over 15.5 thousand views per turn for the former group. The icons get just under 10,000 views per turn on average, followed by pros at 9,200, then Joes at 8,100. Hypothetically speaking, if the influencers were able to get their average match length up to only the 3rd place pros section of about 53 turns, their YouTube viewership numbers would be hitting by far the most average views per match at around 826K. Following this same logic, if the influencers matched the icons' average match length of over 60 turns, the social media butterflies would be flirting with 1 million views per battle on average. Steve Bera likely hasn't wasted his time going into this much detail about how the season's metrics are tracking, but if he knew that average match length had a correlation to view counts, his lowest hanging fruit for success in Battle at the Barracks 12 would be to find a way to make the influencer matches longer. Another factor at play is this tournament's speed of progression and why it's taking so long. It was almost 10 months ago that Season 12 started, with the first battle between Tyler and Yvonne kicking off on June 26, 2021. The worldwide shutdown didn't help, but it's become increasingly more apparent that skaters would prefer to confirm a willingness to compete before their name is plastered all over the internet. Chris Chan compared a game of skate to a boxing match, stating that the power of Battle at the Barracks is undeniable because of its objective measurement of two competitors' flat ground skills.
But why is it so nerve-wracking? And why do you think kids love it so much? Not only say kids.
No, yeah.
I think that's also
everyone.
A pejorative term, right?
Pejorative. Yeah, everyone.
I think it's skaters, right?
Yeah, I think it's so sick because it's the only thing in skating that's like,
Not subjective.
It's more emotionally. It's like a boxing match, 1v1. Who's better? The way people like to look at it from an entertainment perspective. It's not. Yeah, it's less. It's not. Yeah, like less subjective.
Yeah.
It's like you're putting two things. It's like you're putting two of your favorite skaters together. Who's gonna win? Like it's something about it, man.
And if that's a good comparison, can you imagine saying yes to potentially getting publicly smoked in a game of skate if your flat ground chops aren't up to snuff? Is it not understandable to be hesitant about skating against Jamie Griffin, one of, if not the most hyped flat ground skateboarders on social media today, unless you've been practicing consistently, you're healthy, and at least compensated for your effort in case you get destroyed in front of millions of online viewers. After the Season 12 battle was published on YouTube, John Hill, Andy Schrock, Aaron Cairo, Jun Saito, Ishad Ware, Shane O'Neill, Chaz Ortiz, David Gonzalez, Ribsman, Stevie Williams, Ronnie Krager, and Dylan Jabe have since dropped out from this tournament. That's almost 20% of the entire 64-person bracket saying sayonara without even so much as a Rochambeau. If things moved a bit more quickly, we the viewers would likely forgive the mass exodus of invited skaters as we look on to the next season. But the insanely slow pace of the tournament can't be overstated. And compared to previous seasons, Battle at the Barracks 12's current time lapse is barely believable. It's hard to gauge season length from Battle at the Barracks 1 through 3, but beginning in season 4 through 11, the average number of days it took to get from the first battle of the first round to the championship match was 94 days, with season 11 taking the longest at 114 days total. Season 5 was the quickest to date, starting on March 24th, 2012 with Billy Marks and Chris Cole's face-off, and ending in 80 days on June 12th, 2012 with PJ's first title. Compare the average 94-day season to the 12th installment's 300 days and counting. It's no wonder there's toxicity floating in the comments section of the Barracks' non-battle content. Steve and Chris started to tackle the subject of why skaters bowed out from the tournament, with Chan candidly pointing out that if you have no guarantee to return next season after a battle, the pressure to perform perfectly in your only chance at the Barracks becomes a mom spaghetti situation.
Actually,
I'm gonna feel like I lost
I'll
something.
tell you what it is.
Okay.
This is my weird logic, but there's like, let's just say for a normal contest, any other skate contest, you can lose, you come back next year, whatever, Tampa, whatever.
Right.
I could lose this, and it might be the last time.
You might not be invited back, huh?
Yeah. Like, you have one shot.
Yeah.
And it's like the rest of your life. Possibly.
So why do you think some people decided to bow out?
It's not entirely transparent about what kind of compensation Battle at the Barracks competitors receive for going through the nerve-wracking experience of skating difficult flat ground in front of strangers on the internet. But if 20% of invited skaters aren't showing up, it can be argued that the honor of being able to skate at the Barracks isn't a good enough sell anymore. Chris never said it himself, but the points he brings up hint that there's problems with how the Barracks handles its selection of skaters to compete in this tournament. Chan mentions traditional contests having fair opportunities for skaters to compete every year, and Battle at the Barracks is more of a popularity contest to see who's lucky enough to get invited. In addition to contests, look at a traditional skate part, for example. Rough cuts of a skater's part show the truth of what it takes to battle for a clip. sometimes resulting in multiple sessions from different days to get a clip for only a 2 to 5 minute part. Battle at the Barracks is the antithesis of a traditional skate part, demanding not only world-leading flat ground consistency and a huge bag of tricks to be in the hunt for success, but again, you also have to be lucky enough to get invited to the tournament based solely on your connections with Barra and popularity in the scene. The Barracks popularized a game of skate format that is now frequently copied online, but there's a lot of room for Battle at the Barracks to improve. What if there was an annual Battle at the Barracks trials open to anyone interested in competing, and the trial process gave a 100% unbiased opportunity to all skaters that want to show off their flat ground skills? A lot of skaters would likely be interested, so the Barracks could have a limited window for hopeful competitors to apply for the trials, like as little as 60 seconds for people to claim they want to compete. If seasoned veterans like Shane O'Neill and Ishad Ware aren't interested in competing in Battle at the Barracks, both of whom have faced each other 3 times before in the tournament, and are both based in SoCal near the Barracks, isn't that a sign that something needs to change? Shane has skunked 9 skaters in Battle at the Barracks, giving him the most flawless wins by any competitor in the tournament ever. Meaning he not only won the match, but he did it without getting a single letter. 9 times. PJ and Mike Mo have 6 flawless wins each, but Shane's feat of 9 skunks is unmatched. Shane's dominance is shadowed by one glaring void in his list of accomplishments, which is that he lacks a Battle at the Barracks title. O'Neill's in his prime, and 6 months ago, Shane hard posted a casual walkthrough of difficult flat ground in a single take, with a thought-provoking caption aimed at the Barracks that hinted he's wondering when the f*** is this going down. I love Tyler Peterson and Johnny Geiger as much as the next guy, but the stats say Shane's time has come for a title. O'Neill was his own worst enemy in Season 10, because of his obsession with the damn Nollie backside Bigspin late flip, giving Seva way too many opportunities to strike back and make it to the finals. Why Shane's name was removed from the bracket in Season 12 is a mystery, especially since his social media activity suggested he was ready to go. In my opinion, Battle at the Barracks is far from being a failed concept. If anything, this form of skateboarding competition is poised for huge growth. Until this drawn-out Season 12 comes to a close, however, and a less biased selection system is implemented for Battle at the Barracks title hopefuls, Steve Barra and his tournament will continue to face the unenviable position of needing to defend his actions amid waves of negative sentiment.
Sometimes I take it like a personally. I'm like, man, this mother bowed out. I've done so much for this guy or whatever, right? Why is he bowed? Why won't he even text us back or whatever? And then I realize I kind of take a step back and don't take it personally and go, you know what? It's a heavy duty thing. And maybe they're just scared.
Dude, it can be embarrassing.
Right? That's a thing. I'm getting a lot of text messages right now.